From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. President Joe Biden has acknowledged that First Lady Jill Biden opposes Israel's war on Gaza. The New York Times reports that in a meeting on Tuesday with members of the American Muslim community at the White House, one guest told Biden his wife had disapproved of him attending. This was because of Biden's support for Israel's war on Gaza, which has killed more than 33,000 Palestinians, mostly civilians. Biden replied saying the First Lady had been urging him to stop it now. That's according to attendee Salima Suswell, founder of the Black Muslim Leadership Council. Suswell discussed the scene in an interview, saying she had scribbled down the president's statements because she was surprised to hear the First Lady felt strongly about the conflict. Analysts say the First Lady's stance reflects a growing sentiment within the White House to prioritize ending civilian casualties in Gaza. The first batch of Indian construction workers have arrived in Israel to replace Palestinian laborers. Indian media reports the first contingent is of 64 workers. Israeli ambassador to India, Naor Gilon, endorsed the move, highlighting positive bilateral relations between the countries. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plea to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi for 10,000 workers came amid labor shortages after his government banned Palestinian workers. About 1,500 workers are slated for deployment this month, despite objections from the Center of Indian Trade Union. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is searching for the state's first Director of Muslim Affairs. The position was created to strengthen ties with the state's Muslims following denouncements of rising Islamophobia in the wake of Israel's ongoing war on Gaza. The appointed director will advise the governor on community needs and policy impacts. The move aligns with existing roles like Director of Jewish Affairs and Director of Asian American Affairs. Hochul's pro-Israel stance in the ongoing war has strained relations with Muslim New Yorkers. President Joe Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders are joining forces to address the urgent need to reduce drug costs. Their joint effort aims to alleviate the financial burden on millions of Americans dependent on inhalers for conditions like asthma. The Biden administration's progress in drug pricing aligns with public demands to curb pharmaceutical profiteering. However, advocates, including Public Citizens Access to Medicines program, stress the need for further action. Biden's re-election campaign has underscored his commitment to this cause, proposing caps on insulin costs and out-of-pocket expenses for seniors. The president has emphasized the initiative as a pivotal battle against Big Pharma, recognizing Sanders' long-standing leadership in the fight for affordable health care. Trump calls undocumented immigrants animals. Details after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Get ready for an extraordinary telethon at Muslim Network TV. Join us on April 6th for an 8-hour extravaganza. Since 2020, Muslim Network TV, a project by Sound Vision, has been your 24-hour source for diverse and enlightening content. We bring you the truth that other media outlets shy away from, uncovering stories that matter. We need your support to keep Muslims on air. Join us during this blessed month of Ramadan for a day dedicated to producing quality programming that raises awareness and builds a stronger, forward-thinking community. Muslim Network TV is more than just a channel. We are your voice today and the strength of tomorrow. Don't miss this opportunity to make a difference. Mark your calendars for April 6th and be a part of something truly impactful. Together, let's make a difference. Muslim Network TV, where truth and community unite.
Welcome back. Republican frontrunner and ex-President Donald Trump called immigrants who commit violent crimes animals. He made the remarks Tuesday in Michigan regarding the killing of a Georgia nursing student. In February, 22-year-old Laken Riley was killed allegedly by a man from Venezuela who was in the U.S. illegally. It sparked outrage against immigrants within anti-immigrant groups. Trump reiterated his pledge to carry out the largest deportation of illegal migrants if re-elected. Trump frequently has highlighted crime rates in the U.S. at campaign events, regularly blaming migrants for them. However, FBI statistics released this year reported a steep drop in crime across the country last year. These were particularly in big cities run by Democratic mayors, which Trump often attacks. FBI data has found violent crime drop by 11% in cities with populations of 1 million or more, while murders dropped by 20%, rape was down to 16%, and aggravated assault fell by 11%. Facebook's parent company Meta is facing backlash and outrage via social media amid claims it shared users' private messages with Netflix. Documents in a lawsuit filed against the company in the U.S. claim it granted Netflix access to private messages of Facebook users for about a decade. There are reports of a deal worth several $100 million between Meta and the streaming company. But Meta's communications director Andy Stone said on X that private messages were not shared with Netflix. Stone said the agreement between Netflix and Meta allowed users to share content they watch directly from their Netflix app with their Facebook friends. He stressed such agreements are common in the industry. A Washington state judge has ruled against the use of artificial intelligence-enhanced video evidence in a triple murder trial. King County Superior Court Judge Leroy McCullough says this is due to concerns over what he called the technology's novelty and opacity. The unprecedented decision stems from a case involving mobile phone footage enhanced by AI in a self-defense claim. Prosecutors oppose the technology, citing a lack of legal precedent. Despite the defense's use of AI to improve footage, the developer cautioned against its forensic use. Forensic analysts have highlighted disparities and inaccuracies in AI-enhanced videos, raising doubts about their reliability. Experts have stressed the need for rigorous research and standards before AI's widespread adoption in legal settings. While AI has shown promise in investigative uses, such as clarifying license plate images, concerns persist regarding its suitability for legal evidence. The U.S. economy has performed well during Democratic presidential administrations compared to Republican ones since 1949. That's according to a recent study by the Economic Policy Institute. It analyzed GDP growth, job creation, wage growth, and unemployment rates. The study found a consistent Democratic advantage across various economic indicators. Notably, Democrats excel in private sector outcomes like business investment and job growth. As well, it found that economic gains are more equitably distributed under Democratic leadership. Despite these findings, public opinion often favors Republicans for economic management. The study suggests this perception may overlook the significant impact of health care, a sector strongly championed by Democrats. Two hijab-wearing basketball players are making waves in the NCAA tournament. While not their first tournament, North Carolina State's Jedna Issa and UC Irvine's Diaba Konate have become more visible due to increased viewership. Issa says she aims to represent hope and a positive image for hijab-wearing women. Though her team lost, Konate emphasizes the significance of representation. Both admire Bilqis Abdulqadir, who made history a decade ago as the first hijab-wearing basketball player in the NCAA. However, Konate's desire to play in France, where she was born and raised, has been hindered by the French Federation of Basketball's ban on hijab. Germany is advocating for regional de-escalation after an Israeli airstrike hit the Iranian consulate in Damascus, Syria. Foreign Ministry spokesman Sebastian Fischer urged all parties, including Israel, to avoid further escalation. He emphasized the peril of military operations targeting diplomatic premises. Israel's attack killed 2 Iranian Revolutionary Guard generals and 5 others, prompting Iran to vow retaliation against Israel. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned Israel's attack, stressing the inviolability of diplomatic premises under international law. He urged restraint to prevent broader conflict, given the dire situation in Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine. On Tuesday, Sudan's Ministry of Culture and Information announced it has suspended the operations of 3 Arab news channels. The order cited Al Arabiya, Al Hadiath, and Sky News Arabia's lack of transparency and failure to renew broadcast licenses. According to Lina Yaqub, director of Al Arabiya in Sudan, the channels were not officially notified of the decision. The Sudanese Journalist Syndicate has condemned the move, calling it a violation of freedom of the press. It comes amid international concerns over human rights abuses in the country as an ongoing civil war rages between the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces and the Sudan Armed Forces. The conflict began last April, stemming from disagreements over power-sharing arrangements meant to establish a democratic state in Sudan. It has worsened existing humanitarian issues and made journalism increasingly hazardous. Renewed clashes between the military junta and rebels in Burma's Rakhine state have killed dozens of Rohingya Muslims and injured many more. RFA Burmese reports that 79 Rohingya people died and 127 were wounded in airstrikes and artillery bombardments. The conflict has worsened the plight of Rohingya refugees, with about 1 million living in Bangladesh since 2017, following a Burmese military genocide of the community. Within Burma, 630,000 Rohingya have been designated stateless by the UN. They face restrictions on movement and live in camps. Desperate for recruits, Burma's military forcibly conscripted more than 1,000 Rohingyas and coerced them into protesting rebels. In the past 4 months alone, RFA reports that 187 civilians have been killed and 531 injured because of the conflict. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Muslim Network TV invites you to join us for our Ramadan Telethon 2024, taking place on Saturday, April 6th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. So stay tuned. This Ramadan, your support is needed more than ever to continue our mission of providing informative, educational, and inspiring content to Muslims in North America and around the world. Donate now by calling 1-800-432-4262. You can also use the Zelle app for easy payments by sending to info@soundvision.com or visit muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.